Today, we're diving into customization. We're going to talk about how you can take SAP's Cloud for Customer, C4C, and really move beyond its standard out-of-the-box setup. We'll look at how you can build sales and service processes that are tailored exactly to how your business actually gets things done.
So let me ask you this question right off the bat. So often, we find ourselves kind of fighting with our software, right? We're trying to cram our unique business needs into these rigid, pre-made boxes. And what happens? It slows down our sales teams. It frustrates our service agents. And honestly, it just limits our potential. But what if? What if you could actually bend the software to your will and make it match your process perfectly?
And that idea brings us right into our first section, the absolute need to move beyond those standard one-size-fits-all processes. Look, your company's real advantage, your competitive edge, it almost always lives in those unique workflows. It's that special way you qualify a lead, how you handle a tricky service ticket, or the way you approve a really complex quote. A standard process just can't capture that, your secret sauce, if you will. To really win, you need a system that actually supports your specific way of doing things, not one that crams you into its own mold.
So how do we break free? How do we get past those standard limits? Well, you're going to need a seriously powerful tool, and that's exactly what we're looking at next.
Let me introduce you to the SAP Cloud Application Studio. Most developers just call it the Studio, and you should think of it like a digital workshop. It is the place where you go to design, build, and forge custom solutions that turn SAP C4C from just a standard app into a completely bespoke platform, one that's a perfect fit for your business.
I love this analogy because it just nails the difference. Standard software, that's like a car right off the factory line. It's reliable, it works, but it was made for everybody. Using the Studio, though, that's like having a custom race car built just for you. Every single detail is designed for your specific needs, all to squeeze out every last drop of performance.
Okay, so if we're going to build that custom vehicle, we've got to start with the fundamentals. It all begins with laying a really solid digital foundation.
All right, the single most important building block you need to know about is the business object. Now, this is way more than just a database table. Think of it as the complete digital blueprint for any business idea. A lead, a sales order, a service request, the business object defines everything about it. All its data, its structure, it is literally the digital DNA for your process.
And here's what that actually looks like in practice. Now, don't worry about reading all the code. That's not the point. Just get the idea. See how this blueprint for a price request lays out all the essential pieces. There's an ID, a price, a description, and hey, look, it even specifies the people who need to be involved, like a manager. This is how you bake your business rules right into the core of the system.
Now, here's where things get really, really efficient. As soon as you define that blueprint, the Studio automatically takes care of all the basic stuff, what developers call CRUD operations. That's creating, retrieving, updating, and deleting data. This is a massive time saver. It means your team can stop worrying about rebuilding all the basic plumbing and instead focus on what really matters, crafting that unique business logic.
So we've got our foundation built. Now it's time for the really fun part, making our process intelligent. It's time to automate the business flow.
Let's go back to our price request example. A classic sales scenario, right? You probably don't want just anyone approving any discount. So we need to build some smarts, some business rules directly into our custom solution.
This table shows exactly how we can do that. Check it out. If a sales rep puts in a request for under $10,000, fine. The system can just auto-approve it. No one needs to look at it. But if the discount is over 15%, boom, it automatically gets routed to a manager. And for those really big deals, over $200,000, well, that's going to need two sets of eyes, both the manager and the account manager. You see? This is your business strategy now hard-coded into the system's DNA.
So that's awesome for a single process, but let's zoom out. What about the bigger picture? A real sales cycle flows from, say, a lead to an opportunity, and then on from there. How do we make sure our custom data makes that journey smoothly?
The answer is a pretty cool feature called an extension scenario. So imagine you've added a custom field to your leads, something like project budget. Well, an extension scenario lets you create a bridge from the lead to the opportunity. So when a salesperson converts that lead, your custom project budget data just automatically flows right over to the new opportunity. No retyping, no lost info, it just works.
But we can push this even further. Your custom process doesn't have to live on an island. We can actually supercharge it by connecting it to the outside world, using external web services to pull in data, or even trigger actions in other systems.
Here's a super simple but really powerful example of that. A user types in a postal code. Instead of making them then type in the city, the system makes a quick call to an external web service and bam, it autofills the city for them. I know it seems like a small thing, but these little touches save time, they slash errors, and they make the whole user experience so much better.
All right, so we've designed our blueprint, we've added our smart logic, and we've even connected it to the wider world. So now, for the final stretch, how do we actually get this from lines of code into a live tool for our employees and customers?
Well, this is all managed through a really well-structured lifecycle process. Of course, it starts with creating and developing the code in the studio, but then, and this is key, it gets handed over to your actual business users to test it like crazy in a safe, sandboxed environment. Only when everyone gives it the thumbs up is the solution packaged up, uploaded to the live system, and finally flipped on for everyone to use. It's a process that makes sure deployments go smoothly, without any drama.
And here it is, the finish line. This is the result of all that work. You're looking at a list of custom data now being captured live in the system. Every single line you see there represents a completed workflow, a workflow that's delivering real value to the business because it's now perfectly, and I mean perfectly, tailored to its needs.
So, as we wrap things up here, it really all comes back to that first question we asked. It's not about you working for your software. It's about making your software work for you. We've seen how you can build custom approval flows, automate data entry. The possibilities are just huge. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. What is that one unique process in your business that, if you could build it perfectly, would be an absolute game changer?